Well, Don Betz is the person who in 6 short months has accomplished changes and improvements that have made a measurable difference, I think, to students, faculty, and staff on this campus. He does the, thank you, absolutely. He does this for a number of reasons, but I think because he understands and appreciates the history of this place and the culture of UCO, and because he believes in the potential of this faculty and this staff to make a difference in the lives of our students and in the future of Oklahoma. Please welcome the president of Oklahoma's Metropolitan University, Dr. Don Betz.
Well, thank you, Bill. It's so good to see all of you here today. I'm completely blind right now, so if you're in the 5th row or beyond, I can't see you. But I want to say to Ann Holzberline, that wasn't my inner Michael Jackson, it was my inner Andrew Jackson. Which the good historians and all of us that went through sophomore in high school know he was known as Old Hickory. So. And Bill Radke, Provost Radke, I have the solution for our self-study success. You have our students sing it. And if they do that, I am sure that the committee will be duly impressed. I am so pleased to be with you here today, 6 months into this journey with you. I want you to know that last Friday, I spent part of an afternoon with the regents of the Regional University System of Oklahoma for my 6-month expectations review, and may come as a disappointment to some of you, but I think I get a 7th month out of this, and perhaps an 8th or a 9th month as well. I appreciate their guidance and their consideration of me bragging upon you what you do endlessly, and I'm very pleased that they were so tolerant of me. In the last 6 months, we've seen a variety of changes and opportunities and a lot of challenges, and we can list those. Each one of you can do that. But I think the piece that's meant the most to me was exemplified in the video that I saw as I made my way through the group and had a chance to talk to some of you, and that is the faces and the stories of the people of this university. Bill just alluded to the quality of the faculty and staff, which was one of the great attractions and magnets that brought Suzanne and I back to a place that we had loved. And we have not been disappointed. Just making my way up the stairs through the group and in here, I was once again reminded of the quality of the people here. Your commitment is infectious. It makes a huge difference in the lives, not only of our students, but one another. And occasionally, when you live in a semi-rarefied atmosphere of being in an office where, because of scheduling, because you have lots to do, you may not leave the confines of a 150 square or 200 square feet for an entire long day. When you step outside the office because you've had meetings all day, you realize what you were there for because you have a chance to cross one of your paths or hear a story from one of you about what happened in your day, or you give me a chance to learn from you about a student who has just soared to meteoric heights. Those are the moments that really count. They really reinforce the sense of why we are here. And so I thank you so much for coming here today, 6 months into what is going to be a longer story than the 6 months. You know, I think often about the story of this university and the story of this state. We are locked in single step. We are inextricably intertwined. When I step out in front, go to the car, and I see the normal sandstone inscription on Old North, it reminds me of the hopes and the dreams that people had so long ago when there was no state and there were no trees and there was no education and there was no sense of the future, but people believed and they built and they worked hard, and some left and others came, and we are the residue of that. We are that dream come true. So who's out there in the future in that 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, who's going to come onto this campus and be the incredible beneficiary of the thumbprints and the mind prints and the heart prints that you will have left here. We don't know their names. They're not even born. She's going to stand up here one day and be the president of this university. And she will know, because she will be wise, that though she doesn't know your name, that you passed this way. Just like the people that erected Old North and South Hall and Evans Hall and all the other iterations of what became the University of Central Oklahoma. It's so easy for us to get caught up, and appropriate in many ways, to get caught up in the demand of the moment. I live there. I know what it's like, and I know you have your own versions of it. But every once in a while, perhaps on a day like this, when we take a half a moment out, step back, look around and realize, you know, as a student sung so beautifully, we are family. But we're not just a family of today. We reach way back into 1890 and forward, who knows how long. In a couple of years, we'll celebrate our 125th anniversary as an institution of education and higher learning, a dream factory for people who thought there was no hope, an opportunity factory for a faculty or a staff member to take care of their family, and an institution that has made and will continue to make incredible contributions to the quality of life in a place we call Oklahoma, the metro and way, way beyond. And you are the stewards of that responsibility and opportunity. You make that happen every day, each in your own way. And believe me, I know that there are those days when you want to just take a walk. And someone is being unreasonable and demanding and incredibly opaque. And then you realize that the counterbalance lies in what you do every day and in the incredible colleague that might be next door or down the hall or in the next building, the person that makes you laugh when you need to laugh, that makes you feel a connection. And then, of course, the ultimate elixir, this talent we just saw displayed here, which is representative, rippled time and again, of dozens and dozens of expressions of that talent. I could stand up here, you could stand up here and talk about the talented students. They're here becoming more talented and more confident and more sure because of you. And I'm speaking to faculty and staff. Every one of you is an educator and a teacher. Every one of you creates the sense of civility and opportunity that is the University of Central Oklahoma by what you do and sometimes by what we don't do. We make those choices every day. And my bet has always been on this place, because the majority of the time we will make the right choices at the right time for the right reasons. But we have to support each other. We have to take care of each other. We have to reach down when we don't feel like encouraging somebody and encourage them, particularly when they're being difficult. You know this. It's all back there. It's in high school, it's in grade school, it's in the Girl Scouts, it's in the Boy Scouts, it's in the churches you attend, it's in the messages from grandma. It's all in there. We just have to continue to draw it out. So I think we are incredibly fortunate to be part of an enterprise that an entire state, an entire country, and the world depends on for its future. The process of bringing out the very best in people every day so that they can have the fullest possible expression of what it means to be a human being, of what it means to really make a difference in somebody else's lives. And they learned that not just from grandma or the Girl Scouts. They learned it by watching you. They watch you. You know this. The veterans in this place, aren't you always amazed what they watch about you? How they know things about you? Have you ever gone to a roast of yourself and realized they know every mimic, every twitch, every idiosyncrasy, every nod, every stutter? They can mimic you because they are fixed on your message, which is your subject or your conversation. What they're really watching and understanding is this the way I want to live my life? She is a model for how I want to be 20, 30, 40 years from now. It's not the same thing as going in another kind of business, is it? We really are in a position of incredible opportunity and simultaneous responsibility. But I wouldn't be anywhere else. I wouldn't be anywhere else because of the quality of what we do and the spirit with which we do it. So again, as I said on August 16th, thank you. Thank you for welcoming Suzanne and I back. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for what we're going to have to do. Way beyond the confines of the Higher Learning Commission. It's about how do we prepare Oklahoma and the metro area for a world that it does not know. How do we help this brand new young state reach its rightful destiny? And that may sound pedantic, but I honestly and truly believe that it is perfectly true. That that's what our role is. That that's why this university is here. In partnership and in collegiality with dozens of other institutions, education and on, we are one of the players that when it's all sorted out, will say, you know, they really made this happen. They were part of the formula for success, not just monetary success, and that's always important. It's about the success of the spirit. It's about what we talked about on the screen a moment ago, civility in action, tolerance in action, community and engagement in action. That's what this place is about. We're not done. We're learning every day. But what a wonderful mantra to have as a group of educators, leaders, learners, and servers, which is what we are. We get to do this together. And none of us are going to get rich, okay? I'd love to be able to stand here with the notion that under this table, there is a box of doubloons. And all those doubloons will be scattered among you because some sort of fairy godmother or father has dropped on our life. No, we are realistic optimists and optimistic realists. We know the way the cards are dealt. We understand the milieu in which we are living, learning, working, and serving. And we're going to make lots and lots of lemonade when they fill up the bowl with lemons. And we'll do it together in a way that will leave this woodpile, leave this place that we call Oklahoma and the metro higher than we did before. Richer, fuller, more of a sense of itself. A quality of life issue, which is rooted fundamentally in education. We've started making this message clearer to ourselves and to others. On your chair was a card. And up in front, you see there are two very large posters. These posters have on it the mission, the vision, and the Central Six. And we are beginning our strategic planning for the next 7 years in the next few weeks. We've already begun. But I want you to know that thanks to your hard work over the last 14 years, we don't start from scratch. It's not like standing in a corner saying, so how do you make this happen? You have laid out a unique, important, and insightful set of tools and pathways for us. The mission of this institution is so clearly important and at the same time set into the future. Because what we're saying is, we're talking about transforming. I mean, that's a fairly heavy role to play. We're going to transform together opportunities and possibilities for our students. We have a vision for the future that talks about our metropolitan nature, that while we will touch the world and send students out to that world and back, that we are in and of this place, together, this place. We're not in eastern Indiana. We're not in eastern Oklahoma. We're right here. And this place is our turf. This is the place that we will learn, we will lead, and we will serve with humility. Guided so clearly by the parameters of the Central Six. There are so many people to thank in this room today who have done yeoman's work in helping craft and sculpt the sense of who we are. And so much of that finds its expression in the Central Six. You know them, I'm not going to read them to you, but the card is now going to be everywhere. It's going to be omnipresent. It's going to be on posters like this in every academic and non-academic building to remind not just our visitors and the Higher Learning Commission when they visit, but to remind me, and perhaps you, when you entered the building, so why did I show up today? What's this about? Oh yeah, it's about this, and I know oftentimes our demands take us way away from the center mission, so we get to come back and remind each other. Every time we have a visitor, every new student, every conference or meeting held on this campus where there's a portfolio will have this card. When we go to hire new faculty and new staff, and we talk to them about the community that you're joining, we actually, as we say already, this is the kind of place we are. These are the kind of things we believe in. And if there is a fit, welcome. You've come to the right place. We are so glad you're here. But perchance this is not what your life is about, and these are not important to you, then probably for mutual interest, we should not join together and perhaps part ways. Why? Because we can't get it done, and we can't walk the talk without that kind of commitment. To tell you that there is a great deal of funding that's going to proceed from the legislature this year would in fact not be true. Those of you who read and study, and many of you are quoted in the newspapers often, you know as well as I do that we're already being counseled that this is a flat budget year, even though more resources, thank goodness, are coming to the state. The good news is we've had no cut in this year's budget from the state up to this point. In past years, we have had monthly cuts. That's all very positive. But the other side of the coin is this, is that we're going to work as diligently as we ever have to convince the state of the appropriateness and the right nature of supporting this institution. We're going to do all of that times 10. Times 10. We're going to make the case crystal clear, incessantly, persuasively, and to virtually everybody. Not as an annoyance, but as a clarification of the roles and responsibilities that we all have. And we will do this year, next year, the following year, and ad infinitum. Why? Because it's the right thing to do and because the message is clear. But, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, we're not going to solve our issues. We're not going to clarify the future through a pathway that leads through 23rd Street. That's part of the story. But I said to you back in August, we are becoming, like virtually every other public institution, a public-private institution. Steve Kreidler has told me before about 32 to 33% of our whole budget now comes from the state appropriation. To me, that's getting close to state-located, not state-supported, and certainly not state-funded. Reason to be unhappy? I suppose, if you live in that world. Reason for opportunity? Perhaps. Because what we are doing, and part of our planning, which will begin in earnest in the next weeks, is to talk about other sources, other opportunities we have, other places we need to go. This is not business as usual. It's not. Read The Innovative University by Christensen, which has just recently been published. Read That Used to Be Us by Thomas Friedman and Michael Mendenbaum, which is just out now. This world that we live in, that we grew up in as kids, whether you are 30 or as old as I am, that world is simply on steroid process of change. And no one really knows, no one, and certainly not me, where it's all going. But what we do know is we have the opportunity to prepare ourselves and our students for that circumstance. Part of that preparation is we're going to different places for assistance. Ann Holzberlein just mentioned a moment ago about Always Central, the campaign for the University of Central Oklahoma, the specific intentional raising of dollars to support student scholarships, faculty support, special program support, fund for the future, facilities needs that we have. And I'm not going to give you all that list because you know them, but they're there, including Old North. We have to look other places. Are we not going to work downtown? Of course we are. But we're also going to go other places downtown, places that have tall buildings, places that have large footprints, places that have individuals who just may have a different perception of the university than they had a year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 ago, and that will continue to change because of the good work that you do. We're going to go resolutely to the legislature and talk about issues that are important to us. We are very interested in making sure that the setting of the tuition rates, et cetera, stay with the Oklahoma State Regents for higher education. We're very interested in being able to guide our own informational technology futures and not have it guided by the state. We are very interested in making sure that the institution has the chance to do its work as unfettered as possible while being a state institution. And then we have to get incredibly entrepreneurial, incredibly innovative, incredibly imaginative. And that's what this future is about. It's about our ability to harness the process of change. So our message is simple. It's on this card. We're here as an institution to learn, to lead, and to serve. That's what we do with students. That's what we do for ourselves. And that's what we're going to do for the state. We're going to be the most collaborative institution in the state. We're going to find partners we have never seen before, involved in projects we've never had before. We're going to look for partners in Oklahoma City and in Taiwan. We're going to look for partners in North Dakota and in Mexico. Anywhere that's appropriate for the reinforcing of our opportunities to do the job we're here to do. This is not helter-skelter. This is not shooting off a Roman candle. This is about being very studied, but very aggressive. I think you have to understand that that's important to our future. So we have the campaign, we have the work with the legislature. These two pieces are important. And we're going to have the work with a much larger swath of Oklahoma and beyond. But what a story we have to tell. Friends, what a story. A niche story. A story of an institution that, if it were appropriately funded, would probably be as large as other larger institutions in the state because of the attraction, because of the levels of satisfaction that you have created by what you do and how you do it. And so we will plan. We will plan diligently. We will share everything. You will be called not just to listen, but to contribute, not just to learn, but to educate. How do we devise our next 7 years? How do we create a culture of learning, leading, and serving that becomes not only the envy of the state, but a requirement for state success? The answer, the gurus, the experts to guide us there are in this room, or in their office, or serving a student right now, or representing you and me somewhere in this world. That's where our power lies, and that's what we're going to harness. We're going to work diligently through the spring and into the summer, and by the fall, we're looking forward to bringing forth in advanced draft form, not 73 different objectives, but a manageable group of objectives that will move us in the right directions. Now, how do we get there? We get there on a basis of collaboration, trust, creativity, hard work. We have to have the best ideas you've ever had. Don't squander a single idea that you have. Don't assume that your idea is not worth something to us. When I walk across the campus, I get stopped. I'll make a generalization. If I walk between my office and the Nye University Center, coming and going, I get stopped 10 times each direction, on an average. And most of it is really good stuff. Some of it is, you can imagine, but most of it is really good stuff. And what it usually is talking about something that happened, or about something that's going to happen, or about something that could happen. The cauldron of creativity here is aflame. And what I'm saying is, stoke that fire. I know the first thing is going to come out, yeah, but we can't afford these items. Don't hold back. Don't think about the finances first. Let the imagination, the creativity, and the innovation flow, because that's where our strength is as an educational institution and as a community. I am absolutely serious about that. Come forth with ideas, perhaps like Tom Brokaw spoke about in his book, The Time of Our Lives. Maybe it's the time for a regional institution in this country to be the location of a National Academy for Public Service. And maybe that public service should come from us. Maybe that's the role for this university. And if it is, how do we move in that direction? How do we make these things happen? How do we find ways of creating the reservoir of great ideas that can become whole? How do we do that? We'll do it together. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've had a long day. We're going to give away a few things here in a moment, but I wanted to close with just a couple of thoughts. And again, your indulgence is more than forgiving, and I appreciate it. If UCO can be seen by the people of this state and by the people who elect people in this state as a vital partner, a sustaining resource, and the gathering place for great ideas and great conversation that can be transformative. If UCO can be the place where we can help people understand that education is not simply a social issue, as Tom Friedman says, but an economic and a national security issue. If we can, in fact, harness the attention of the state to the kinds of ideas and the kinds of civility and the kinds of approaches that you model, then I think we become a model for much more than our own institution. I could spend my few moments with you today thanking you for things I don't even know you're doing, but I know they're doing them, the individual acts of kindness and education. But I wanted to say that I don't know what brings you to work every day, because I don't know all of you, but I know a lot of you, and your smile should give me a boost. But what brings you here? What is the value and the meaning of our work and our lives for you? I bet a lot of it's the camaraderie. I bet a lot of it is the sense of accomplishment. I bet a lot of it is you're a glutton for punishment. But I'll give you an example of why we do this every day. I'll give you an example of why this is worth it. We do it for the Carlas of this world. The Carlas of this world. The Carlas of this world are those kinds of students, real students, who go off and make a substantive difference in the lives of other people under extraordinary conditions, whether it's at home, state, national, or abroad, who find themselves comfortable in an orphanage in Haiti, or a daycare in South Africa, or a South Oklahoma City opportunity to help out children. Those students, the Carlas of this world, model what we are about. They say, in a very human expression, this is why I am here. I am on this planet at this time for these reasons. I made one person's life just a little bit different and perhaps a little better. You encourage, educate, nurture the Carlas of this world. You tell her that what she's doing, which is tough, is the right thing to do. You give her tools and a sense of possibility and a sense of responsibility. You do that. And please understand, I am not just speaking to the faculty who are the lifeblood of the university, because I watch students every day interact with our staff, and the staff is educating our students. So, when you come to work tomorrow, think about Carla. Think about the smile she had when she came back from working 2 weeks in a village in South Africa, making a difference in kids' lives because she watched you. She saw you. She loves what you represent. Culture of learning, culture of leading, and a culture of serving. In this culture, which we will create, which you will create, we will sculpt the future of the state with many, many other partners in only one way. This is not a one-man or a one-woman show. We do it together. Thank you very much.